Welcome back. All right, so we got 4 games to do the recap for now, including this one that gets aboard by itself, as I said, but at the time this one ended, I didn't have time to do a video by itself. So here we are. We're going to start off talking about Pittsburgh and Carolina, and this felt like a playoff matchup. Now, I've seen the posts on the power rankings and Canes fans saying, see, the Canes are better than Pittsburgh. Did we watch the same game? I understand who won the game. This was a very close game, and I'm looking forward to the rematch in a couple of days' time. So it was DeSmith versus Kochetkov. So the first thing a Pens fan would say is, well, yeah, they didn't play Jarry, so that's out there. Pens had the early pressure. Raquel has a shot that's held. Stahl then had a backhand that was saved. Canes, they take a penalty in the offensive zone. I've started tracking that in the recaps because I think that's noteworthy. There are penalties you take that you'll say, well, that's one they had to take. It prevents a scoring chance. The penalties in the offensive zone you want to avoid. So, Malkin has a tip that's saved. Canes clear it out. Heinen then had a shot that was saved. Pesce clears that out. Power play's killed off. Paling is denied on a rush. The shots are 5-1 for Pittsburgh at 4 minutes. Joseph has a shot saved. The Penguins press again. The Canes were flat, and the Penguins at this point were faster getting to the pucks. Kokaniemi has a shot saved. Pens clear it out. Svechnikov has a shot held as the Canes start getting some chances. Carter then had a rush chance that was saved. Necas is robbed on a great offensive play. Good back and forth with 6 minutes left. Necas then had a shot that's kicked aside. There's a press by the Penguins that draws them a power play. Penguins had trouble setting up. Other terminology would be the Canes had a good penalty kill. Depends on how you look at it. Heinen has a shot that's tipped high. That's killed off. Evenly played second half. The Penguins controlled the first half. The chances on net in that period altogether were 8-7 for the Penguins. So I understand Canes fans being excited, and that's fine and dandy, but this was very evenly played. Second period, early press for the Penguins. Canes press back in a minute and a half. Rust has a shot that's blocked. Good pace to this one early on. Net feed to Paling was blocked, and then Stepan opens up the scoring from Nason at 3:25. Buries it in close during a change by the Penguins. So just one of those things that were getting resituated, and the Canes take advantage. Necas is denied. The Canes get a power play. Penguins don't let them set up again. Necas has a screenshot that's held. Jarvis fires one wide. That power play's killed off. Heinen has a rush chance fired high. Martinook has a wrister that's held. Kokaniemi can't bury one in close. He was all around the net today in this one too. Penguins get a power play. Canes, don't let them set up. Raquel's denied. The Canes clear it out. That's killed off. The Canes rush after. The shots are 8-2 for Carolina with 8.5 minutes left. Then there's a delay game call that puts Penguins back on the power play, and they score on it. It's Raquel that ties the game from Malkin and Letang at 12:20, and it took 5 seconds. So Rickard Raquel has been quite the story for Pittsburgh so far this year, and that continues today in this one. And it really quieted the crowd quickly. Like the crowd had been pretty into it, and it just got very quiet at that point. And it seemed to take away the Canes' momentum too. Kokaniemi gets denied and close on a 4-on-2, and then with 4:07 left, the Canes get a power play. Necas has a shot that's held. There's 17 seconds of 5-on-3, but 10 seconds later, the Canes take a penalty to make it a 4-on-3. It becomes a 4-on-4, yada, yada, yada. DeSmith poke checks Necas as he's trying to net drive. Everything gets killed off. We go to the third with this one tied at 1. Early press by the Canes. The shots are 4-0 in their favor at 3 minutes. Crosby to Raquel is blocked, but then Crosby somehow still gets a shot out of that. That was saved. And then on a rush, 2-on-1, McGinn scores from Kapanen at 5:03. That was during a Canes line change. You got to watch when you make your line changes. Canes look for an answer. Kochetkov with a turnover, but the Canes would recover it. And then it's Shea. He blasts one from the point. It was a good forecheck by Stahl that set things up. So Stepan and Stahl with the assists at 8:17 makes it a 2-2 tie. Carter fires one wide on a rush by Kapanen. Evenly played game. The Penguins press with 8.5 minutes left, but a little bit of a press here by Carolina. They get the lead. Good pass by Fast, and Stahl gets the goal. Shea with the other assist at 13:13. Penguins press with 4.5 minutes left, but they can't get to the net. Heinen has a set play on a face-off win. That was held. If that one had gone in, that would have been pretty. Goalie pull with 2:23 left. Letang prevents an empty netter. Intentional offsides called on the Canes. They vehemently denied it was intentional offside. And when it's an intentional offside, it comes all the way back into your own zone. Kochetkov holds as the Penguins pressure to tie it. Canes beat out an icing with 25.5 seconds left, and then the Canes do ice it. But 13 seconds left, they ice it again. And so, yeah, in the end, the Canes hold on. They win this one 3-2. They go to 19-6-6. The Penguins, with their first loss in a while, 18-9-4. And again, we'll see how the rematch goes, because the Penguins can easily win the rematch. The shots in this one, 11-7 Pittsburgh in the first, 13-6 Carolina in the second. Both teams had 9 shots in the third. Final shots, 29-26 for the Canes. Power plays, Pittsburgh 1 for 5, Carolina 0 for 3. Hits were 30-18 for Pittsburgh. DeSmith saves 26 out of 29. Kochetkov continues to work on this resume as a permanent NHL goaltender. I'm going to go ahead and say it. He should be a permanent goaltender in the NHL when Anderson comes back. And we're not sure on the exact date of that, but there are some decisions to be made by Carolina, because I think Kochetkov deserves to stay. That being said, I already need to change boards. All right, and see, this one's just got the 3 games. Now, technically, I could have put the Pittsburgh one on this, but I wouldn't have been able to take as many notes, and you wouldn't have got as much detail. So, the New York Rangers in against Chicago. That's right, it has returned the No Mercy Magnet. So this is your Cobra Kai No Mercy Magnet, the first one of the year. These are back. So in a game where the goal differential is more than 4, I use the No Mercy Magnet in place of the NHL one to basically say, there is no mercy rule in this game. So as the Rangers and the Hawks, the Rangers definitely remembered the last game. Jacob Trouba stated he didn't. Andreas Athanasiou calling him out as making $8 million a year, whatever the exact total is, and that he didn't have any goals. Yeah, Trouba remembered, so we'll get into it. Shesterkin versus Soderblom in this one. The Hawks press at 2 minutes. Kurashev has a shot that deflects wide. The Rangers were flat for the first 5 minutes of this game, but they wake up at 6 minutes. They get some pressure. The shots are 5-2 for the Hawks at 8.5 minutes. Trocheck has a tip shot that saved the Hawks. Really needed to watch the turnovers. There were way too many of those going on. Lindgren breaks up a Hawks rush. Kreider fires one high on a rush as well. And then Hedl. It's a turnover that leads to this one. Hedl from Lafreniere and Fox at 13:04. Then there's a delayed game call that gives the Hawks a power play. That's killed off. And then on a rush chance, it's Panarin who's heating up on a goal-scoring basis from Fox and Trocheck at 16:55. In fact, coming out of tonight's game, Panarin's back in the top 10 in scoring in the NHL. So I saw some negative talk about Panarin. I'm thinking that's gone by the wayside right now. Hawks press with 1.5 minutes left, but then on a rush, they score again. It's Kakko from Hedl and Lafreniere at 19:03. It is 3-0 after 1. Second period. Unassisted, Kurashev gets Chicago on the board at 1:33. Rangers nearly answer. Hedl gets hurt. He exited the game, did not return. Then Tenorti, and this is not good. So Tenorti, who just got the jaw protector off of his cage, took a puck to the mouth. He was bleeding really pretty badly there. And he exits the game. They had to have the ice crew come out and clean up the ice. Remember, he needed, was it 75 or 100 stitches in the mouth not too long ago? Not good. So for Tenorti, a guy who came back and you know, the guy's a warrior, I hope he's all right, because that was a lot of blood going on there. So Entwistle then had a net drive defended when we get back to the action, right? And the thing was, the Hawks were doing pretty well at the time that injury took place. The Hawks, though, they press at 5.5 minutes. They get the momentum back. And then it's Trouba. He scores to make it 4-1 from Zibanejad and Panarin at 10:28. And he chirped Athanasiou after. And McCabe kind of broke things up. Emily Kaplan was between benches. She couldn't tell us exactly what was being said between these teams, but there was some chirping going on. And I don't know if this is because of just Athanasiou, or maybe the Hawks were chirping a bit when they beat the Rangers 5-2 earlier in the month. So, yeah, the Trouba goal, you'll be surprised to hear this was scored on a rush. It's a drop pass and in. So the transition game was just killing the Hawks today. Really was. Game starting to get chippy as well. The Hawks press with 6.5 minutes left, and we get Igor chance. Yep, Rangers fans in attendance in this one. 23.4 seconds left. The Rangers get a power play, and they score. It took 8 seconds. It's Trocheck on the power play from Fox and Zibanejad at 19:44. So that makes it 5-1. We're going to the third. VC to Kreider, near miss there. The Rangers press at 3.5 minutes. Schneider ends up hitting a post. It took 7 minutes into this period before Chicago got their first shot. At 8:56, this one's on a rush too. It's Kravtsov from Panarin and Lindgren. And then at 13:37, Schneider gets a goal from Kakko. That one deflected in off of Murphy. So that makes it 7-1. The next time Soderblom saved a puck, Bronx cheer it was. So with the team from the Bronx being in here, 7-1's your final score in favor of the New York Rangers. They go to 18-10-5 for Chicago. The misery continues. 7-19-4 on the season. The shots 10-8 Chicago in the first, 11-9 Rangers in the second, 11-7 Chicago in the third. Final shots are 30-26 for Chicago. Power plays, the Rangers scored on the only one they had. Chicago only had one, didn't score on it. Hits 24-15 Chicago. Shesterkin saves 29 out of 30. Soderblom, I feel bad for him. 19 saves on 26 shots. I didn't think he played badly. Just look at all those rush goals. It's just every time, like Chicago would have opportunities, and every time the puck turned over, it's in their net. Which, again, I know will reflect on the goaltender. I don't think that's fair in this case because the defense just wasn't there. So, at any rate, I will qualify that as a revenge game. It's just funny that the Rangers before the game were like, yeah, I don't know. Did we lose that game? We forgot. No, they didn't. Nope. And Emily Kaplan between benches said, yeah, no, they haven't forgotten. There's a lot of discussion down here. So, Winnipeg in against the Seattle Kraken. Winnipeg, of course, playing last night in Vancouver. It can often be an excuse when it's the second half of a back-to-back, depending on what happens during that game. This game tonight, it really felt like Winnipeg was on the second half of a back-to-back. And so let's go through it. It's Riddick versus Grubauer. Bjorkstrand nearly gets one early. The shots are 2-0 for Seattle at 3.5 minutes. Krakens weren't giving the Jets very much, but the Jets' drive tonight was just completely different than last night. Barron has a rush chance that's saved. The Jets get a power play. Perfetti had a rush chance that was saved. And then we get a minute and 14 seconds of 5-on-3. Well, 5-on-3, you're likely going to score on, and in this case, they do. It's Scheifele. Tap in. It was a great pass for Morrissey. Dubois with the assist as well at 8:26. Morrissey continues to be an amazing story for the Winnipeg Jets. I'm going to do a video on, players that aren't the superstar of the team that are having pretty good seasons, one of those 32 team videos. And I was going to put Morrissey in after tonight's game. I'm like, I can't, because we all know Morrissey's playing great. That's a 9-game point streak. So, Scheifele fires one high. The 5-on-4 was killed by Seattle. Good flow, very few whistles at this point in the game. The Kraken get a power play. That's killed off. 2 shots. Seattle presses with 5 minutes left. And for the rest of this period, Seattle had a lot of the control of the game. So the fact that the Jets are ahead, but only have 3 shots, tell you the score doesn't really match the play. Second period, good early flow. Few whistles here too. Press by Seattle at 5 minutes. The shots are 6-0 for the Kraken at 7 minutes. Near miss for Alexiak. They press again. Then there's a near miss for Beniers on a rush. And then Eberle scores from Larson and Dunn at 8:43. He backhands it top shelf. Ridiculous hands. So I'm guessing the curve on Eberle's stick isn't quite as dramatic as it is for others. It's one thing with the guys with the big curve. It's harder to get those backhanders. So the Jets nearly answer. There's a near miss then for Eberle as the Kraken press. Jets get a power play. They score on it. Dubois buries a rebound from Connor and Morrissey at 12:41. So there's Morrissey again. And that makes it 2-1 in favor of the Jets. The Kraken press with 5.5 minutes left. Riddick holds there. Scheifele then had a rush that was held. And then Morrissey would hit a post as the Jets press. But after 2 periods, the Jets are up 2-1. They had a better second half to that period than the first half. So, third period, 16 seconds in. It's Donato ties the game from Gordon Burakovsky. The Jets press for an answer. Sprong then is denied in close for Seattle there. Pressed by Seattle at 3.5 minutes. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Seattle gets a power play. That's killed off. Shots are 7-2 for Seattle at 9 minutes. Schwartz has a wraparound that's saved, and then it's McCann. He scores from Schultz at 15:28. Wires it top shelf after a good press by Seattle there. Tanev is then robbed on a net drive as just Winnipeg was out of gas. They absolutely were. I saw this online too with articles reviewing the game that, it looked like the Jets were just out of gas. Goalie pull in the final minute. Jets can't manage that goal to tie it. So they lose this one 3-2. Seattle will take the win. They go to 17-10-3. The Jets 20-10-1 with the loss. The shots in this one 9-3 Seattle in the first, 13-12 Seattle in the second, 12-2 Seattle in the third. They outshot the Jets 34-17. Now, the Kraken have been very good at shot suppression for their opposition. It was aided tonight by the fact the Jets were pretty tired. So I'm not trying to take away the win from Seattle. They played a good game. They took advantage of a tired opponent. The power plays, Winnipeg 2 for 3, Seattle 0 for 2. So Winnipeg managed nothing 5-on-5. Hits 22 to 14, Seattle. Riddick saves 31 out of 34. Grubauer saves 15 out of 17. Not overly busy, solid at points, and Seattle gets the win. All right, last game of the night. The Calgary Flames and the San Jose Sharks, a game which had the most humorous moment of the night and maybe the scariest. I'm hoping that for Zadorov, it's not as bad as it looked. It looked not dissimilar in what happened. I didn't see all the close-ups of it necessarily, but not entirely dissimilar to the Evander Kane thing. I don't think it was as bad, but the way he skated off the ice like that had you concerned, didn't it? Markstrom versus Kakkonen in this one. Physical game early on. These teams deciding they didn't like each other pretty early. Backlund has a net drive that saved. Kadri's then denied on a 3-on-1. The shots are 3-0 for the Flames at 5 minutes. And then on a Magna turnover. So Magna passing the puck the wrong way. And Toffoli says thanks and buries it at 7:13. So that makes it 1-0 Calgary. Flames press for another, but the Sharks would get a power play. They score on it. It's Meyer from Karlsson and Hurdle at 11-11. So for Karlsson, that's his 700th point. I'm considering doing a career video for Karlsson at that mark because that seems like a significant mark for a defenseman. And he's the fastest European defenseman to 700 points. Near miss then for Mackey on a 4-on-2. Mangiapane ends up hitting a post. Dubé has a shot that's saved. Flames get a power play. That's killed off. One shot. Lucic then had a rush chance that was saved. So after one period, it's 1-1. Second period, early Flames power play. There's a near miss for Coleman. That power play's killed off. 2 shots. The shots are 4-2 for the Flames at 5.5 minutes. So those 2 shots, part of that. And then at 6:01, Lucic gets a goal from Lindholm and Lewis. This is the humorous part of the program. In that Lucic gets the goal. It bounced. It went in off Karlsson, but it looked like it might have been in off Lewis. And I think the referee was going over to tell the timekeeper it was Lewis's goal. And you can see Lucic looking like, what? And when the announcer in the building said it was Lewis's goal, you can see Lucic like, what? While his teammates are basically partying that he finally got a goal. It was his first of the year. So the idea of taking it away from him, I don't know. I found it humorous. The announcers found it humorous. Lucic, it's interesting how Lucic has evolved over the lifetime of this contract. He was seen as overpaid. He was seen as a power forward that was washed up. And now he's kind of a folk hero in Calgary. And I think it's kind of become a good story again with Lucic, and I'm glad he finally got his first goal. He's been trying to get that goal for a while now. So Meyer then had a rush chance that's saved through a screen. We get a power play for the Sharks. That's killed off 2 shots. We had a fight between Gilbert and Gadjevich. That was a good fight there. The shots are 8-5 for the Sharks with 7.5 minutes left. With 1:51 left, the Sharks get a power play. Good kill, though, for Calgary. So that rolls over into the third period, at least partly. We get a 4-on-3, 4-on-4 for 3 seconds. Then it's a Flames power play, and immediately the Flames score. So it's Lindholm from Huberdeau and Kadri at 16 seconds. And then what really hurts the San Jose Sharks, other than third periods in general, Lindholm scores again, this time from Anderson and Hanifin at 35 seconds. That's 2 shots, 2 goals for Calgary, blows the game open, and then at 2 minutes and 10 seconds, Kakkonen had misplayed a puck, and Dubé takes advantage. From a sharp angle, he puts it in. Kadri and Toffoli with the assists. And in 2 minutes and 10 seconds of the third period, it is suddenly a 5-1 score. So Calgary just blows it open. And this has been the storyline with San Jose. And the interesting thing is, when I hear announcers who haven't watched San Jose talking about their defense, what's going on with their defense? Yeah, that's a major thing with San Jose, has been most of the season. Their defense just breaks down, and their goaltending, like Reimer was good last night. Kakkonen didn't bail them out tonight. I'm not putting it all on Kakkonen, though. The defensive structure was definitely an issue. So the Sharks call a timeout because you got to do something here. That's 3 goals in a little under 2 minutes. The shots are 7-0 for the Flames at 7 minutes. So this doesn't get them shots. The Sharks press, that draws them a power play. They do score on it. It's Hurdle from Couture and Karlsson at 7:56. So the Sharks avoid a second no mercy magnet coming out. I do have multiple magnets of that. Then there's a delay game call. Sharks get a power play. That's killed off. The Sharks press after. Gregor's denied. Hurdle has a shot that's blocked. And then that's where Zadorov gets hurt. He blocked the shot, and it looked like a skate caught him on the wrist. That's what it looked like on the replay. So, and I haven't watched the highlight reel packages. It may have been something else, but the way he was going off, it looked like he was holding his wrist. And so really hoping it's not anywhere near the same as with Kane. Although I didn't see like a bunch of blood on the ice. So that's, I have my fingers crossed on that one. So the Sharks go to the power play. They pull the goaltender because why not? Then we get 13 seconds of 4-on-4. So they're not able to score on the power play. The Flames don't hit the empty net either. Lindholm was close. Almost got the hat trick on the empty net. Flames get a power play. Everything's killed off. And then with 15 and a half seconds left, the Sharks get a power play as an errant stick catches a player in the face. So hopefully that's an okay situation as well. Just this was a game that had some ugliness to it. And I didn't feel like any of it was intentional ugliness. But at any rate, Calgary wins the game 4-2 or 5-2. It's their first win in a while. They're 14-12-6 with the win. We'll see if they can start turning it around. For San Jose, they're 10-17-6. It's just amazing to me that for Calgary, they've played 32 games and they've only won 14 of them. This team's too talented for that. Whether we overrated them at the start of the season or not, I think they're too talented for this record. Shots in this one, 10-3 Calgary in the first, 13-7 San Jose in the second, 10-8 San Jose in the third. They actually outshoot Calgary 26-25. Power plays, Calgary 1-for-4, San Jose 2-for-6. So San Jose didn't get a goal 5-on-5. Hits were 26-23 San Jose. Markstrom saves 24-26. Quietly had a very good night. And Kakinen, 20 saves on 25 shots. In 10 of his 13 starts, I think that's the right number. He's allowed 3 or more goals. That's a problem. So for the Sharks, it's another loss. But of course, this isn't the year for them to make the playoffs. So I guess if you guys win the draft lottery and get Bedard, nights like this, you could say Kakinen would get a Bedard award, right? So anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.